New at 6 o'clock tonight, cigar aficionados may be able to light up Cuban tobacco in the not-so-distant future. That would make a lot of people happy. That is, if a local company gets some help from the Biden administration.
Fox 13's Josh Cassio reports the J.C. Newman Cigar Company is petitioning to be able to import Cuban tobacco to their factory here in Tampa.
As far back as 1895, skilled hands crafted premium cigars inside the J.C. Newman factory. Even after all these years, the old tradition still rolls on today.
Cigars are an important part of the fabric and character and the history of Tampa, and Cuba was a big piece of that.
So big, in fact, that a century ago, more cigars using Cuban tobacco were rolled here in Cigar City than in Cuba itself. That all changed in the early 60s when President Kennedy essentially cut off all trade with Cuba.
Since 1962, there haven't been Cuban cigars made in Tampa, and there hasn't been Cuban tobacco here in Tampa, and we want to change that.
So, some 58 years later, the J.C. Newman Cigar Company is petitioning the federal government to allow them to import Cuban tobacco. It's a simple request, albeit one rife with major international implications.
The government allows for coffee and charcoal and metals from independent Cuban entrepreneurs, and we have asked the U.S. government to also allow us to import raw cigar tobacco from independent Cuban farmers into Tampa. Just like a type of grape that's grown in France will taste different than grape grown in California, the same is true with cigars and cigar tobacco.
How the Biden administration will handle J.C. Newman's request isn't clear. For now, this 1958 bale of Cuban tobacco is about as close to a Cuban as it gets.
This is the very last bale of pre-embargo Cuban tobacco in the United States. But we know there's interest from consumers, from us, and from farmers who are independent in Cuba, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Perhaps the old ways will become new all over again. In Ybor City, Josh Cassio, Fox 13 News.
Now, Fox 13 did reach out to the U.S. State Department this morning, and as of news time tonight here at 6 o'clock, we are still awaiting a response.